Okay.
I don't know how to do it.
Oh, are we live yet?
We are live right now.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Everyone, peace, everyone. It's your girl, Belle Santos. I'm here with my sisters from the BAIO, She That Militant Black Buddha, and my other sister, Adjoa. We wanted to do a show today based on Black men against nationhood. It's been, like I was telling you ladies before we started, it's been interesting these past couple of weeks. And it's just been kind of sad to see that there's so many Black men against this, against nationhood. It's like, what is going on? You would think they would want to be part of this more, developing their own nation state, their own Black community, their own, socioeconomic and political environment run and controlled by them. But that seems to not be the case. I'm trying to send the link now. Who is messaging me? But yeah, so click on the camera.
Okay.
Camera with the line across it. There you go. I forgot to say that. Okay. So yes, but so this is how this topic kind of came along. But I'll let you ladies kind of go if you've noticed this yourself, whether it be online or in person. I know that we're not like walking around talking about this all day and promoting this, as some elite organization to join. But just let me know what you guys think and feel about this topic. So either one of you.
Well, I would just say that, I think that some people have different definitions of nationhood, and I think that sometimes that is an issue. When we're referring to the conscious community and the Pan African community, sometimes it's not one and the same, and people have different ideas of what nationhood is. So if you talk to a specific group within the conscious community, they would probably be more in line with nationhood being here in the states or something like that. If you talk to a Pan African, there are some sects of Pan African that would still believe in having nationhood here, but quite most of them would say to definitely go back to the continent. So I
Right.
think that that's one of the things I've noticed is that there are a lot of different definitions, and everyone isn't on the same page. So sometimes when we're going at one another, it's because there isn't a clear line of communication. We're not speaking the same language, and so I think that's where it causes a lot of confusion now regarding some of the new posts that have been out and videos that have been made. I have not seen them, so I cannot comment on that. Like, I don't know. Now, those people know it's right. Now, those people that know what the BAIO stand for and they're against that, I, I don't know. I feel like, as we talked about before, a lot of people are afraid. There are a lot of different reasons for that, but I think overall, when I think of like the nationhood situation, I feel like the communication isn't there. That everyone has a different definition of what that means, and that's why we clash a lot.
Right. I mean, it's interesting you say the communication. I agree with you. Like, I feel like they're not even listening. Is the conscious community? It sounds like it's become so a system of such a just to have debates all day that everyone is, or not everyone. A lot of people are focused on making the next response instead of actually listening. It's
Right.
like, well, I'm going to say this. I need to say this next to what he's saying instead of thinking like, oh wait, what is he saying exactly? Like I think it's a lot of that going on. But Black
Yeah,
Buddha, let's
that's
start
fair
with
to
you.
say. Yeah.
What are you thinking?
Say that
Have
again.
you-
I missed some of this conversation. I dropped out.
Oh, sorry about that. But we were talking about just the reaction in the different parts of conscious community for nationhood, where you have like the different sections of Pan Africanists who want to go back to Africa, and some think we can do it right here, and everyone else who like let's do it right here. Or some people like let's not do it at all. Like what do you have you ran into this
I really,
yourself or witnessed this online or?
I haven't witnessed it online. Most of the people that I've talked to, like my friend that I was telling you about, they all seem to have the same attitude with regard to nationhood. But the residual conversations here and there that I hear, it does sound as if everybody has their own perspective as to what that means. And most of the time I hear that they want nationhood where they're already at.
Right. And that would be fine if they were actually working on it. I'm not even against that. I'm like, you know what? If you're actually working on it and gonna go for it, then go for it. But
Exactly.
don't just sit around and attack us for saying, you know what, we don't want to do it here. We realize historically, every time we tried to do it here, something happened. So let's try somewhere else. Let's take our behind somewhere else. The resources are over there. We ready to be done with this. Like us saying that shouldn't conflict with someone who wants to do it here. It shouldn't at all. But somehow it does. But they make it conflict, which makes it more funny and crazy. It's like, wait, how do we leaving hurt you? So it's like we want to leave. We have that right. So that's what's just been the interesting part, which is and been so counterproductive as well.
I kind of feel like the reason that we get that type of feedback from people is because of I guess for lack of a better word, the brainwashing that we've been enduring for so many years.
Exactly right. Yeah.
They don't believe that Africa is a place for us to go. They don't, and like I said, it comes from that brainwashing. So I'm not quite sure.
Say that again. It sounds like you cut off a little bit there, or maybe it just happened on my end.
Yeah, I was saying that they don't. The brainwashing has allowed them or allowed us for over these hundreds of years to believe that there is no place for us to go, and this is our place here in America. And they don't believe Africa is the choice.
Yeah, I mean, and it's been sad, but actually, it's been quite a bit of comedy this past week. So it's well, I guess I don't know if you ladies knew this or not, but we do have a merchandise shop on the website.
Yes, I do see that.
Okay. Don't know if you ever clicked on the link. It's not like it's anything we've ever promoted. But in your ladies' opinion, have we ever pushed to purchase merchandise or donate?
No, you actually would. You almost have to search for the merchandise actually. But I find it hard. I rarely go to the merchandise page. I have been there to see what things I would like to purchase, but I don't think that that's in the forefront because it's, first of all, in the navigation bar, it's all the way at the bottom. So you go through a lot of links before, or hyperlinks before you even get to that. It's not even in the forefront.
Right. Now, Adjoa, have you noticed that?
So I've seen the shirts. I have not seen any of us on any channel push merch. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. So I'm more for, I would advocate that we do. It's my opinion. Yeah. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I mean, this is a capitalistic society, and we gotta make money. I don't think anything is wrong with money. I'm not really in the business of saying money is wrong because it's not, or just wealth is wrong because it's not. So I would say that no, but maybe that should give those powers that be to kind of push it because they should talk about it. And I think that more people that wear those, that purchase it, that also contributes to the cost, and people that notice it, because these people become walking advertisement, then that will bring people to the cause. So I don't think anything is wrong with it. So to have someone say, I guess in a derogatory way, that's kind of weird to me because you should be pushing it.
What makes it funny is basically this is the basis of our entire organization. Is really to sell merchandise. That's the story that's going. It's not about land infrastructure nationhood. It's not about developing a nation state for our own on the continent. It's literally to get you to buy a pair of drawers and a coffee mug. That is the story that is going out. So funny because I'm like, oh my God, this is all we've been doing. Like, I mean, that means Hold Up and Do It has been talking for a decade, and Kala too, all to get people to purchase merchandise. So, and that sounds like really
to me that
So,
that's what's being said. That's very
go
odd.
ahead.
Considering you
If
just
that was the case, then they doing it wrong. I mean, I'm not, I'm not even being smart. I'm like, then that's a problem. You gotta go back to the drawing board for real, because then you're doing it all wrong. Cause
what you actually what they actually did was went to the website and decided they went straight to the merchandise section. They didn't go through and look at the things and the conversations that's been taking place on the BAIO, let alone connecting with some of the videos that or radio shows that have been played in honor of the BAIO. I mean, like, what kind of crap is that?
Not only that, it's like, well, it's like, well, you guys do super chats through Dyna's channel. It's like, what? Like, basically, they're implying that Dynas give us the money. It's like he doesn't have his own separate platform. He doesn't travel to Africa. He doesn't use, and he tells you what his super chats go for. But basically, is we're all in cahoots to take people's money and get people to buy some drawers and a coffee mug.
that's just weird, because if you just even sit back and think about it, even if we were in cahoots, although we're not, even if we were, that's still not bad, because it still helps still helps the cause. The idea there is a group that there's this, I think that, and we talked about this before, there's this whole thing of growing pains that you go through as you become more enlightened, and there's this idea that money is wrong, and that and acquiring it is wrong, and I think that's stupid. If you have to if you build a brand and you sell that brand so that you can meet your goal, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. I don't think nothing's wrong with super chats. I don't think now super chats shouldn't be paying your rent. I'm not really for all that, but it should be just going towards the cause that you are promoting on your channel. I think that's okay. But the idea that he's like, all right, he's splitting it 60-40 is crazy. He doesn't mention like, hi, this is a search for Uhuru on behalf of the BAIO. He never even mentions the organization, so that's weird.
Right, and then I mean, well, it's like Dynas does his own thing. Like, yes, he's a member of the BAIO, but Search for Uhuru is separate from, like, he does his own thing. We all know. He's traveling to Africa, promoting Africa and everything. And we love the work he does and the information he brings back. That's why people support him. That is not we telling him, Dynas, join with us and we could split the money. Like, he doesn't even get, to me, he doesn't get enough super chats. I'm like, you guys should be giving him more with the information he providing you, because I see people spend more money on nonsense conversations when a conversation is attacking, women and or going against, Black men versus Black women, people be throwing in dollars like nobody's business. I'm like, what is going on? And Dondada made a good point. He said the fact that they point out our group merchandise is if no organization wear those logos on the t-shirt, insurance companies, automakers, watches, cigarettes, this is, that's what it is. And other companies do that. So then they try to get on the fact that it was like, well, they have white models. Oh, where'd you get those white models from? So I said South Africa just to be a jerk. So just to be smart ass. But the website where the merchandise is a third-party website. This is an online gift shop, basically. A lot of YouTubers use this. You basically give them your product and they'll superimpose it onto whatever, their own models that they develop. So it's not like, you're selecting Black models.
But that is so well known in the social media, and anyone who does like merchandise, that is so well known. If you go on Instagram, you'll see the same models with different t-shirts. Like, that makes absolutely no sense.
That tells you like the intelligence level of this. Now, to make it more funny, more interesting, out of all of this, in the description box of this person's video is donate. Please, he has a GoFundMe link for his supposed
for his page.
It's in his description box, and it's just like, what? He's hoping to raise $57,000 for some arbitrary cause, because it's not very specific on whatever he wrote. It's just I have it pulled up here, but it's just like stuff for Black people, building something, but he doesn't really tell you what they're building. Oh, and get this, it says, I and others have developed the core factors that are needed to getting us right on track. We cannot reveal them all now and may not later, but we will be put it into practice.
And people are giving money?
Or tell others I'm not done what should be done. So he's like, we'll delve in more into the particulars at a later date, but we need to iron out the foundation first. So you need to give us money.
What?
I can't even finish reading this.
But he's bashing the BAIO, and the BAIO right when you click on the about page. I mean, it's clear what we are doing.
Exactly. So, and then his thing, whatever he's about, it's not clear at all. You can go through 15 paragraphs of just nonsense and never get to what he's doing. But he, in the paragraph, he does in his section of whatever he's doing, he is asking for money, telling you why you should donate, who, not really who they are and what they're doing, but you should just donate. So I was just like, oh my God, this is hilarious. So the fellows of the BIO have been having a blast just in the comment section of his video.
Wow.
Look at all of them. I was like, oh my goodness. Yeah, so it's just been more comedy, but I was like, I don't want to spend too much time on this, but these are the GoFundMe scams and the GoFundMe clowns that we're dealing with.
That is amazing.
But we've never asked anyone for a dime. So,
no, we.
Some of it you just have to take as like, you know, free advertisement. And, you know, you mentioned that before.
Yeah,
it'll just bring more people. Yeah.
That's exactly what it was. What came out of that is Holeup got new subscribers. I believe the BAO may have gotten a handful of new members. Oh, and I think we sold more merchandise too, because a lot of people had no idea that we had that on our page. So they're like, wait, we had coffee mugs? I want one. And I told her, I was like, that reminded me I needed to get into the coffee mug.
Oh my God, there's so much stuff on their site. Even baby clothing, like onesies and everything.
Yeah. So like, I'm like, oh, just the comedy of it all. But I'm like, that's how much time I'm spending on that idiot. Other than that, but you know, back to the main conversation with you know, what we really want from our men, our Black men. I'm just amazed at how many fight this. And you know, I don't know, I guess, are we messing with their money by wanting a nation of our own? Like, what, I guess for some of these YouTubers who live off of misery, I guess we would, if we're trying to solve that solution. With their money. So.
I think it's, you know, I need more clarification. You know, like I have to look at who that person is and what they stand for to see if they really are aligned in what I believe in. Because a lot of times, like I said before, we're usually on two different planes. You know, we're usually not don't have the same perspective. I'm not, and I won't even give it a second. If I realize that we're not on the same thing, then I'm not going to give it a second thought. If I notice that his background is just demeaning other people, and I know that then I realize that, you know what, he's probably doing it for money. You know, a lot of people have built their platform based on just demeaning Black people, demeaning their African people, their own people, because that sells. It really, really does. Just like you mentioned before, Belle, like a lot of people, you get way more views when you are demeaning Black people. Yeah. And, yeah.
I mean, unfortunately, you're right.
Yeah, that's real sad.
It shouldn't be that way, but I mean, as far as when we're saying, I feel like, and it's really weird. So if we're talking about a person that kind of is for a person that's against that, I think there's a lot of fear that is involved in that. You know, so you have, right. So it's one of those things like, okay, we failed here. How in the heck am I going to make it over there? You know, how the heck am I going to make it over there? How is it even possible? And the fear of the unknown. And again, I mentioned this in our other chat, is that you're not going to have anyone to blame. The whole basis of a lot of people's platform is blaming other people or blaming the quote unquote man. And you take us, for example, and we're taking that out of there. We're putting the ownership on us and what we do. And you know, a lot of us can't handle that. A lot of our people cannot handle that.
I mean, that's sad. Go ahead. You wanted to say something, Black Widow?
Well, I was just saying that they say that truth hurts, and a lot of people can't handle the truth. In the words of white man Tom, but you can't handle the truth, and that's what the problem is.
And that saddens me because I'm like, God, hearing that it would make me want to do opposite, like make me want to get away from this and away from finding a scapegoat. Like, no, let me set up my own. Let me do my own thing. Let me get out there and work with some people who want the same thing. Not just saying like, oh man, who am I going to blame if this fails? There's no one to blame but me. No, I don't want to do it. That's like a very weak perception. Like, and you're right. A lot
It
of men
seems
feel
like
that way.
the energies that we have in the BAIO with regards to trying to make this thing happen versus those that we're speaking about right now. It's like every day we have a reason. When you watch the news or read the news of things that's happening here in America, every time something happens, your anger should build up. I don't understand why they're not angry. And seeing the things that they're seeing on a daily basis, it should make you want to reflect on yourself and figure out what you can do to make this change as opposed to just being someone who goes along with the okie dokie.
No, I mean you're right. Going back to what Adrel was saying with basically how they just feel so downtrodden and beaten. And I mean, like with that, I was thinking of something a while ago. There was I don't know if you guys ever watched like Scandal or How to Get Away with Murder.
I only watched a little of Scandal.
Yeah, I mean, like, well, I tried to catch the crossover. Like, I gave up on it because it was all going all over the place. The plot started getting nuts. But a few months ago, they tried to do a crossover episode. Shonda did, and what they did was try to bring the two Black girls together. Which I guess this was Shonda's way of helping Olivia Pope or Kerry Washington redeem her Black card. Because they showed them going to the salon together, and when we think of looking at Olivia Pope, where she must go to a salon, I was thinking she might go to Supercuts at J.C. Penney, but they were just trying to put like Black salon, so that's what you think. It's like, oh Lord, she's just so she's such a whitewashed girl, she already lost a Black card. But anyway, this is the episode where she's trying to get her Black card back, I guess, where they're trying to show like, oh, okay, so she goes, into the hood and get her hair done, or she goes into, like Black salons basically and get it done. But looking at it, it was just something interesting about this episode. So while watching it, like while they're talking and doing their thing and moving around, I started to feel pretty special just seeing two sisters doing the important work they do, in regards to law and politics. Now, we're going to have our opinions on the type of work they were doing, but that's not really the point I'm making here. But basically what it was is like, I'm like, damn, I feel proud to see these two sisters kind of just going about working, wearing their suits and getting stuff done and making moves. But it's sad because I was like, man, for white people, this is normal everyday behavior for them. Just being reputable, being professional, being put together, damn near walking around like they saving the world. That's like commonplace for them. So I was like, it's a sad shame that I'm sitting here impressed basically by two chicks going to work that everybody else does every day.
I agree.
I was like, this is sad. But I was like, because we see so much of the opposite. Black people in general, we see so much of the opposite, just the broken, the downtrodden, the defeatism, low expectations that seeing, just people, who work in and, being in an occupational environment, it just shocks us. So it's like, I was like, damn. And watching that really helped me realize the power of imagery in the media. And how, I'm like, because for white people to see this every day, their kids are going to grow up seeing this, saying like, okay, yeah, I'm supposed to go to work every day and do this, do that, and for little Black girls to see Olivia Pope and this, and whatchamacallit, Viola Davis moving around, it might help them too. Who knows? Just like the power of imagery from Black Panther, just seeing something positive, but we're so used to seeing something negative. That's our only expectation. So when you're talking about moving, building your own nation or doing something as big as that, for many of us, it's just like, oh, what? Like, that's not going to happen. That never, you're never going to get that done. And it's just complete, just taking L right there. Like, nope, not going to happen. You're a loser. You're not going to, it's never going to be developed. Black people can't work together. Black people can't be professional. It's just written, like that card is just written out and set. And I'm like, that's sad because I want to live in a society that's seeing blue collar and white collar professionals. Hell, even superheroes is all normal to me, and they all look like me. That I want it to be a way that, like, seeing a homeless Black man will be just bizarre, would just be so out of the norm for our society. It will produce a reaction of shock to the community, where people will be reaching out to the local city council, to the mayor, governor, with questions as to why this man or woman, don't have a home. We need to fix this. I'm like, that's what I want. Like, I don't want to see the norm of, or what, being here is considered norm.
Yeah.
And I agree. I think that fear is really paralyzing. And, it's not one of those things where we only fell off the cliff once. It has happened several times, and we've been in this condition for a long time. So, it's not like we don't have examples where stuff hasn't failed. Even when we think about the Black Power movement and how successful it was, when we think about one of the reasons why it has crumbled, it was due to someone that looked just like us. You know what I mean? You have all these people that infiltrate, and we have so many examples of us kind of sabotaging our own movements. And even when that wasn't the case, the big Thanos, the big powers that be, have come and crushed it. So we have a lot of examples of us falling off the cliff. And for some people, that's enough to deter them from moving forward. They prefer to just complain about the situation, our situation. But fear can really do that. Fear can leave you in the same place, run on that treadmill, going nowhere fast. It can really do that.
Yes.
I'm not of that cloth, but I know that that's real.
Right. Yeah.
So,
No.
yeah.
I'm like, damn. Like, it's sad to see that. But Black Huda, did you want to say something?
I was saying that I was agreeing with that wall because it's very real. Exactly what she said. It's truly real. The fear that paralyzes and makes us want to withdraw, or either just become complacent and accept or get in where we fit in the world that we live or exist in today.
I mean, in looking at it, like, just seeing what's happening today, I'm like, like, looking at that and seeing what direction it's going. Like, we all know this current story in Dallas.
Yes, that story pisses me off.
Oh my God, everything about it is disgusting. That is what I fear.
No.
Like, seeing that become so normal, and unfortunately it is, and just us not having anything as an alternative. Like, us not having our own. Like, I fear what's going to happen if we don't do this. Basically, like, if we don't go for this, what's going to happen to us? Like, if this is what we're leaving for our children, like, to be surrounded by this, to see that this is normal, like, that fears me. That's what fears me more than anything else. So I'm like, it propels me to say, no, you need to go for this. This needs to happen. It's past due. But yeah, like,
with social media, most of our children do think it's normal. This isn't one of those things that, even when I grew up in the 90s, where I was only privy to certain information if it was on the news. We had internet, but it wasn't like popping like this. We didn't have social media.
right.
We have these things that are constantly being shown 24/7 that people think is normal for us to be exterminated. That's the problem. So what you're doing, you're creating a huge mass of people to be more docile than the last generation. So the idea that these children are out here are going to fight because they're tired, not necessarily, because they see it every day. I was on a treadmill running, and I saw a man being shot in the car with his children and with his daughter in the car. Okay, and they played it 1,000 times on CNN, and no one bat an eye. And I was on there, like, I had to leave the gym because I was like distraught. And I'm like, I told my husband, I was just like, yeah, they kept doing it. They kept, showing it. And I'm like, it was making me sick. And like, it was crazy because you had that, the news anchor didn't seem concerned. She's just telling the story. Right after that, the next day, something happened in, that white Jewish, not Jewish. Where are those white Muslims from again in Europe? They always have all those issues. Blah.
What?
You'll see why I never pay attention. But anyway, when it comes, but
In the chat, if you know who she's talking about.
I can't remember. You know, they're having like a civil war. But the point is, with them,
Palestine?
it was
Well, they're not.
no. What's the one that they look white? They're not. They don't look more Arab looking. I cannot remember their name. But the point is, the kid was like, it was this kid, and he got caught in a crossfire. He was alive, but he was all muddy and stuff. And like they were like almost in tears on CNN, and I'll never forget that. And I'm working out again, and I'm like, this is crazy. They're like losing it over this kid who is alive. He is fine. He just had smudge and all that stuff on his face.
Syrian.
But a man lost his life. Say it again. Where?
Is it Syrian?
Yeah, there you go. And I was just like, this is insane. But because like that, believe it or not, like that's a part of the programming. That's there. So you're supposed to feel more empathy for that little kid than your own people, than your own situation. Yeah. You know, so it's creating this group of people that we feel for others and other people movements than we care for our own, and that's really dangerous. It's really a dangerous situation. Mind you, I'm in the supermarket. I'm like talking this loud about.
That's fine. That's fine. I mean, it's like
represent.
Go ahead, Black Buddha. Go ahead. What do you want to say?
That's okay. I will represent.
Right.
Oh my gosh. But, so like the expectation that I have, and this goes without saying for the men already in the BEIO, because I feel like they already represent, you know, a man who wants something different, wants, you know, something of his own, to have his own, you know, his family taken care of within their own community that they control, to be part of a system that, you know, they know is going to take care of them. But it's sad to see that there's so many Black men who just, I don't know if they're not thinking about it, and maybe many of them aren't. But even the ones that supposedly are conscious, you would think they would think about this. I mean, you're supposed to be quote unquote woke, right? Like, what did you think to come to your own at some point? Instead of, you know, it's like you're talking about reading all these books and, you know, advancing, and some of them even talk about going to Africa. But when you talk about nationhood, it's just beyond that. It's like, oh no. Like, you get so much pushback. And the expectation, like, I'm just gonna say this. So I'm probably not gonna offend the men of the BIO, but I hope I don't offend many other men. But still, I'm just gonna say this. I wholeheartedly expect that the man I'm with is going to have to do some things that he may not be able to sleep at night to maintain his nation state, to protect his family. I wholeheartedly expect him to probably do some things that'll probably give him nightmares, just to get his own nation state and to protect his family. Like that, those are my expectations. Maybe I'm asking for too much, because I'm like, well,
not at all. Let me know,
the guys in the chat, if I'm asking for too much for expecting those things. So this is what the women are looking for, not dudes who's just gonna, you know, be on the internet and just talking and making videos and just, you know, GoFundme scams. It's like, what the hell? Like, this is not what I wanted.
Yeah, I want a guy that's gonna be a soldier for moving our lives forward as Black people, as well as our community, so we can make this nationhood situation happen. You know, you need that person. You need a strong person or a guy to help move that forward.
Right. And I'm like, the kind of man I'm looking for is not like a man who matches his strength against, you know, women or, you know, even the guy next to him. I want him to match his strength against the world.
Against the world,
yeah,
exactly.
I need you to be like up there. Thanks, Rock City. He said, no, sister. That's exactly that. Thank you. I thought I was just expecting too much there for a second, which is sad that I thought that, because I thought, you know, like, shit, this should be.
Well, I kind of feel like the reason that you may have had that little quirk of a thought is because that it seems, based on the conversation that we're having, that there's a lot of guys out there that are not. They think that you are asking for too much.
Yeah, you know, I mean, you're right. They're probably like, oh, no. Like, this is like, what we ain't doing all of this. But, you know, unfortunately, yeah, you're probably right.
Well, then they're not really pro black. There's no way, we got to separate. Listen, in my opinion, the only power comes from us uniting. That's the man, woman, and child. I'm not for, you know what I mean. I'm not for the breakup of our situation of our people. It makes absolutely no sense. You can't have just men going. Like, we got to hold the line too. We may not be holding the line the same way because we all have our roles, but we are doing that. So I'm looking for the woman to stand up. I'm looking for the man to stand up, and I'm looking for them both to create warriors as well.
Right.
And we're all going to have to do stuff that we may not want to do, but they
Right.
are necessary in order to protect us. So I
Absolutely.
find that like, I don't know. You're not pro-black to me.
Yeah.
As simple as that. I don't care what you say. If you got to go, well, if the black woman, if you got to start off like that, will we say, are you going to stand up? or if the conditions, no, the conditions will never be right. It will never be this perfect storm. Either you with it or you not. So,
I mean, yeah, and this all goes without saying for the brothers of the BIO, because they know what needs to be done. But yeah, like, our expectations has just kind of just fell. And I mean, and then there's those out there who we just don't want, to be honest. Like, they're never gonna get it. We actually need them. They're more useful here in the U.S. to us than coming to the continent. Like, that, we don't want them up there. These are the dudes who, they're like, they'll have like a hood booger name, and they're just part of a particular group of Black Americans that's so dysfunctional it overshadows the educated and the really productive members of society. We
Right.
actually need those to stay here. I'm like, you guys are the perfect distraction, because we need some senseless and wasteful do nothing fools to stay here and just remain America's cash cow. I don't want to be the cash cow anymore. I'm like, no, I'm gonna take my investments and resources somewhere else. But I'm like, yeah, some of you are better off here.
Something you said a little while ago, Bill, about I can't remember what it was, but it brought up this conversation I was having with my daughter the other day, watching television with her, and I have been like recently noticing, and I think actually it was Adwa that basically was saying that we need to strengthen our relationships and stuff like that. But I'm watching television the other day, and I noticed, and it's not that I hadn't noticed it before. It's just that I think the other day it just really irritated me because I just saw one more freaking commercial where there was a mixed race couple, and I again don't really have too much against people choosing who they want to choose to love, but I just find it really sad, especially in this day and age with everything going on with Dallas and NFL players not being able to kneel during the national anthem and things like that. Those are things those are things to me that hurt our community. And when you watch television and now, your regular commercialized bullshit is now starting to accept the fact that blacks and whites are going to mix and mingle, it's like they're also further selling the killing of our race.
I mean, that, and like, I personally find it, like, how are we still in 2018 and we still hearing the first black ... I'm like, at this point, that is insulting.
That's sad.
That's sad. Like, the what was it, the mayor in Florida who won like a month ago or so? I'm like, what? We still hearing the first black?
Yeah.
Like, at this point, shit. How is that possible? But we know how it's possible. So I'm like, even more reason to say, you know what? This country ain't doing shit for us. They don't want to.
For me, I'm not surprised, and I don't know if I'm a little bit more pessimistic than others, but I'm not surprised that we're still breaking molds and stuff like that. I mean, it's 2018, but can we really say we progressed? I'm not really shocked by those things. On the other subject, what the other sister said, this does not reflect the AIO, but I'm gonna be real with you. I'm not for the mixing. I'm not for all that. Like I said before, to me, our black power comes from black love. And that's it. I don't care what anybody else got to say about it. That's just what it is. I'm the product of black love, and I love it. And my children are as well. And I'm not really for all that. I don't agree with it, and that's just it. But I will say it's definitely propaganda for us to believe that is the future. That for some reason, if we're all mixed, then it won't be any racism. But we all know, if anyone knows, like how Latin America is and other places, and the role of the mulatto and how they play for the oppression, their role in as far as the oppression of black people, then we know that that's all lies. They do it in the UK. The UK, all they show is interracial marriages and interracial relationships on TV and in their movies. They're rarely ever having, black people together. And it says something. It's all about programming. We don't even realize that we participate in these rituals at all.
Yes,
Right, right.
And that is exactly what my point is. And I think someone had asked me in our last conversation about will the black man go without a black woman by his side? And I'm with you on that. Well, with regard to we are stronger together, and that's exactly what I meant. That they're not going to go anywhere. Really, they're going to stay here. And like Belle said, we don't necessarily need those type of people for us anyway. No. They are not going to go anywhere without us.
No. I actually think both of them should stay. It's more of a benefit for them to stay than ever come to the continent, because they're not going to be useful there. So yeah, they're more beneficial here. But yeah, I'm like, geez, I want to see, and for the most part, thankfully, being within the BAIO, I see really good examples of men, of all the men there who are active within, our site, who understand what we're doing, who want to be part of it, who have the skills to build and willing to network and get it done. And I really think that scares a lot of these other dudes, because the reality, I guess, is since the BAIO itself was formed as is basically a product of the conscious community, you can say, because it was just nothing was happening. Mm-hmm. And nothing was developed from it. So the BAIO itself had to be formed just because these people seeing that nothing was happening within the conscious community, no development, no progression. So therefore, they formed this. So I think by default, a lot of our listeners and viewers just so happen to also be part of the conscious community, whatever different groups, whether you're a Pan-African RPG, you're Israelite, more, whatever, they listen. But then I feel like talking to them, they're probably the worst people to talk to, because they're the ones who are fighting us the most. Mm-hmm. And probably the ones, they're so used to the conscious community nonsense that's been going on, that you coming in with solutions just really does piss on their parade. So they want you to come in and debate them. And you're like, no, there's no debate when you have an end game. There's no debate when you talk about land, infrastructure, nationhood. And they know that there is no debate. So all they can do is attack you. And then it becomes just, they're going to force one. They're just going to attack what you stand for, even though it just makes them look stupid. But it's really an embarrassment to the black men who are not active in doing this. Like, it really, I don't know if they ever turn around and look at themselves and like, damn, what am I doing? Because these people talking about developing their own shit, and I'm over here just attacking them, calling them names, calling them fake, and just that's the way I'm being productive towards this. So it's really embarrassing when I look at it, but I don't even know if they're thinking that far ahead.
They're thinking about right now and what they can get for themselves. It's about them and themselves only.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I know. Okay.
No, I just want to add to what you mentioned about what other, what we contribute to the BAIO. One of the things is with us in general. When I say us, I'm referring to just African people on the continent or in the diaspora that consider themselves conscious or Pan-African. One of the things is that, are you only conscious or Pan-African through social media? In contrast to what are you doing in the community? Let me tell you, there are a lot of fires that we have to put out. So that's why it makes it easier when we all come together, because we can the greater impact. There's a lot of stuff going on. There's a lot of shit going on just in Philly alone. There's a lot of shit going on where you're at, where all of you are. It's a lot of stuff. So one of the things I really appreciate is that it's not just on social media. It's also in our communities. I remember one time Minister Dawood was talking, and I think he was on Holup's show, and he was just talking about all the things that he does in his own time. and it's commendable. You know, a lot of brothers, they're not just speaking this, you know, just to grab an audience just on social media, but they're actually putting their, you know, really putting in the work and trying to put out these fires because there's so many. You know, we're surrounded by, you know, by wildflowers everywhere you go. So I just feel like one of the things that we have to talk about is not just being a warrior in social media, but also being a warrior in real life. You know, people get so caught up in this social media that we forget, you know, we're actual people and things really need to be done. You know, so I commend a lot of the people that are in the BIO that are actually doing something.
Right. Preach what you practice instead of practice what you preach. I like that one. Thanks to Wood. I really did like that. It was like,
what did he say?
I'm sure he can explain it better than I could because, you know, he did that video.
Yeah, I agree.
Instead of telling people what to do, how about you tell them what you do? Actually, how about you tell them what you actually do? Basically, that's how I could translate it. But preach what you practice, which is good because Dawood is out there, like, doing his thing. I know he does the women's self-defense class. He did do, I know before, where he was counseling for, I want to say, people who just came out of prison. Correct me if I'm wrong, Dawood. I don't know if I got that right, but he did quite a bit for the community.
Yeah, I think that's what he said. He works with fathers also.
Yeah, I think I heard him say that before.
Okay, so yeah, but no, you're right. Like, it's just the example we have, and you're right. There's a lot more going on outside of social media, but I'm starting to see that a lot of people are glued to the computer screen now in terms of like YouTube, and like it's become so much of a sport. You know, like people just spend, and it's okay because some people don't have cable or TV, or they just kind of nix that and probably just do streaming services like Netflix, Hulu, and then fill in the gap with YouTube. But it's become such a sport to like post and do stuff that it's on YouTube that's all they do instead of really getting out there and interacting with real people. And it probably depends on their location as well. I can see that, but you're right, Adjoa. Like, just going out into the community and making the difference is actually key. Is really key too. I would like to know what everyone is doing though out there. If they're really helping. I mean, you know, people will say one thing and they'll tell you one thing on YouTube and be doing something completely
different in their life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah,
that's very true. That's very true.
Yeah, so Shauna T. Peace, everyone who joined us. S. Wiseman joined us. Ronan Black, Shauna T. The Woods in the chat. I believe I saw Hola for a while there. I don't know if he's still there. But Shauna T says, yes, that is true. Millennials and the generation under them are on social media more than in the streets protesting. That is the truth. That is, like, me and my sister was just talking to a friend about how we played double dutch growing up, and, you know, kind of like making her laugh because she's going through a sad time. Her mom passed away. But, you know, then my other sister jumps in and she's like, oh my God, she had to order a rope online, just try to force her daughters to get into playing double dutch because she's like, this is like,
sounds like me a couple of years ago.
You won't do it anymore.
That sounds like me several years ago when I in that small town in Florida. I was watching how, you know, the girls, you know, like I said, Southern people love to say that, you know, city girls are fast, but when I came to that town, I was shocked at the things that I was seeing the young girls doing. So my daughter's friends would hang out, guys and girls, on my porch every day. And some of the guys actually, some of the boys that hung out, they actually appreciated that I was there because they said that it gave them a place to hang out and not get in trouble because that's what they were doing before I got there. But for the girls, I still got the rope now, looking dead at it. I bought 2 double dutch ropes. The girls there knew nothing about jumping double dutch. I'm like, oh my God, what are y'all doing?
That's so crazy to me. I'm like, what? But we don't have the phone company trucks like in New York. Was it 9X at the time, or like AT&T truck that used to come up
take their wire,
and they used to always give us a rope. So
yeah. Yeah, but I taught them how to play rope because I'm like, y'all gotta find something to do that's age appropriate. and get uninterested in seeing how fast y'all can go in the bushes with each other. So I used to teach the girls, taught the girls how to play rope and Chinese jump rope and all that stuff. They would come down there looking for.
Oh my gosh, memories. Memories. Chinese jump rope. My God.
Yes. Yes. So much fun. Yep. And they loved it, but they would come and get that rope.
Yeah, but Dawood says, thank you for all you do for the VAO, all three of you. I mean, a lot. It means a lot to us.
Very welcome. That's what I'm here for. That's why I joined. Same mission.
Thank you, King.
Thank him.
But,
Thank you, King. I appreciate that.
Exactly. Thank you.
But yeah, so and it's not like we're in the business of just, like we said before, we are about connecting people, not convincing. So this stream isn't to, convince Black men to get their shit together. One, I can't help you with that. You're gonna have to figure that part out. But in terms of nationhood, I mean, like, it's not so much to say that it's something to think about. It really isn't much to think about. It just makes sense. But if you are on the fence about it, then I mean, I would say just reflect at what's going on in your own life. I love connecting with the brothers at the BIO and hearing about what they do, different professions that they're in, and how they want to contribute. And I'm like that. This is the conversations I like to have, and just sharing information about new projects, construction projects, the advancement that's going on the continent, resources available. I'm like, this is important discussions that we definitely want to take part in. And it's something that's like, man, either you're going to be part of this movement or you're just going to be left in the dust. So,
Yeah.
Oh, she got some Jack. I forgot about Jack. Oh my God.
Oh, sorry.
Jack. Oh
okay, I was about to ask you what you're cooking.
I just ran in our house from going to the supermarket. I'm about to fry up some cabbage.
It sounds good.
Anything else you ladies are gonna add? I was gonna keep this live stream short, everyone. Actually, one of our members, Adano Ali, on his channel, he recently went to Ghana and bought some land. He's about to do I want to say a radio show in his local town in Minnesota he's in. So he sent me a message saying that's going to go on his channel shortly. I want to say in about 20 minutes or so, less than that probably.
I'm excited. I love his the work that he's done. Like, I follow him, so yeah, I'm excited to see the progress.
He's about to do that. And so I am coming, just so you guys know, I'm coming to the DMV area October 26th, just before I head to New York. I wanted to do a meetup. Actually, I want to do a meetup when I get back from New York in the DMV area, but I'm trying to figure out that. You said I have to drive through Philly to get from the DMV area to New York anyway. So I have to figure out what time of day is best to like do the drive so I can see you. I know it's only 4 hours. But I'm like, I gotta meet up with some people in Philly. I probably won't be able to meet up with everyone, but I'm like, I at least gotta see my sister. So gotta figure out what.
Yeah, you better see me. If you're gonna go on I-95, you better come see me. Yeah, we can work it out. I gotta get a sitter.
Yeah, no, it's okay. It won't take long at all.
When are you gonna be here?
What, in Georgia? Or?
No, there. Where you're going now?
I'm only for a week, a little over a week, maybe about 10 days. But it's just like I get into DMV, then I stay for a couple of days with my brother, and then drive to New York, and I drive back because I'm flying out of DMV. All of this is really because it was the cheapest ticket from where I'm at. So I was like, usually I try to look at what deals they have going to the East Coast and when, and you just got to get the tickets when you can. Donati, I'm gonna drop the link to his channel.
What happened? I can't hear you.
Sorry, she asked me about Adano Adli's channel link. I will share his channel. Yes, there we go. So the link I just posted is Adano Ali's channel. He said he's going to. I don't know if I don't think the interview is live. I don't know if no, it's not, because he said he did it before, but he was able to get the recording and he was going to post it. So you guys can take a look. But no, that's basically it, ladies. Like, I don't want to, although it was entertaining with the YouTube trolls and the GoFundMe scams, all those trolls, it's been entertaining. I'm like, I don't even have the energy, or nor do I care to spend too much time on it, because they're just losers. So, and at this point, I feel like I'm kicking a horse that's already on the ground. Like, I'm just like, you're done. Even if once you're arguing this, you're already done. So, and so I'm like, I'm not gonna spend too much time with it. So, okay, he's going to post it. All right, my review will drop on my YouTube channel in 20 minutes.
Okay.
But anything else you ladies want to add?
Well, no, I have not much to add. That subject to me is like it's a good subject, but at the same time, it's a subject that doesn't require that much attention because, again, like you said, those people will not be who we're looking for to, help us move this mission forward.
Yeah, and I mean, I think the reason why we don't even care to speak on it too much is really because we're surrounded by men who are such opposite that seeing the clowns who do the foolery that they do, it really means nothing to us. It's like, whatever, you're basically a bitch. So, and I don't entertain bitches.
Yeah, our guys give us hope.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. So I'm thankfully I've had great role models in the BIO and even within my personal life. So it's just I can't even entertain it. But
I agree with you, ladies. I just want to say I agree with you there. And some do turn around. I can never give up on my people. All of them, all Africans across the world. I love them. I love them with everything that I have. So some come around, some don't. Those don't. They just wasn't meant to get on the train, and I'm fine with that. But can't give up on our people.
And you see,
Other than that, thank you.
this is how hopeful and peaceful we are. Like, we could even still make it positive. Like, we're really not going to be in here tearing into
Right?
Even I think that's probably the most offensive we've been.
Right.
Still pretty mild. Like, we don't have a displeasure or dislike for them, but yeah. So it's okay. S. Wiseman, I will be doing a drive-by in Philly, but in DMV, I will be there for a couple of days. The last couple of days. That depends. I mean, it depends on New York, how occupied the New York chapter keeps. So blame them if for some reason I can't do like a full day with the DMV here. So it's going to be the New York chapter fault. But I'll be there though. You guys will see me. But anyway, ladies, and final words. Anything you guys want to say?
Nope. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it, sis, as always.
All right. Thank you. Have a nice weekend, ladies. Have a nice weekend, everyone.
You too.
Bye.
Love everybody.
Peace, Black people. Love you.
Bye.